Welcome to section 9. So in this section we're going to be talking about the close project or phase process. In this section we'll explore the close project or phase process, and we'll be focusing on finalizing all activities and delivering the project or the phase successfully. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the inputs, the tools and techniques, as well as the output of this process. So without further ado, let's jump in. Now first is the input. What are the inputs in the close project or phase process? So the first input on the list is the project management plan. The project management plan provides guidance on project closure activities, including scope verification and customer acceptance criteria. Now, of course, everything you're going to be doing in the project, from the initiation to closing, the provisions are already itemized in the project management plan. All right, the procedure, the guideline, you already have them in the project management plan. Okay, so when it comes to closing the project or even a phase in the project, you also have to visit the project management plan to ascertain what are those activities that are part of the closure. All right, and of course they include the scope verification. You're going to have to verify the scope, and then what are the customer acceptance criteria that you have to go through, right, to ensure that the customer or the client has accepted the project before you start rounding it off. So this is very important. So next on the list is the accepted deliverables. Accepted deliverables. So these are the verified project deliverables that have gained customer or stakeholder acceptance. Okay, so having gone through the customer acceptance criteria, and then of course the customer have accepted the deliverables, then you can now have these as accepted deliverables. All right, so this is worthy of note. So not only the customer but also the stakeholders, all right, they have to be sure that the deliverable has actually met with their requirements. Okay, and then they can now accept the deliverable. Next is organizational process assets. OPAs may include historical data on past project closure procedures, templates and checklists. Right? So let's look at the tools and techniques in the close project or phase process. The first technique on the list is expert judgment. Now, expertise from individuals with experience in project closure can guide the process. So of course, before you close your project, so you have to get the expertise from your subject matter experts and other members of your team who are experienced in project closure. Okay, so their input is going to help to guide you, the project manager, throughout the process. Next is data analysis. Data analysis may include reviewing project performance data, which is crucial for assessing the success of the project or phase. Alright, so you're going to have to review your project performance data, okay, because this is going to help to assess how successful has the project been or the phase. The next is meetings. Like we've established before, meetings are held to discuss and finalize closure activities, including obtaining formal acceptance of deliverables. So part of the customer or stakeholder acceptance criteria is to actually meet with them, right, whether virtually or physically, to discuss and finalize the activities within the closing process, right? And part of that discussion will include, of course, obtaining formal acceptance of the deliverable. So they are going to formally accept, all right, in whether it could be in written format, okay, with their signature to it that yes, the deliverables actually met their requirements and they are accepting the deliverables. Okay, until that is done, you cannot actually close the project. So this is very important. Now let's look at the outputs in this process. So the first, of course, is the final product, the service or result transition. And this output confirms that the project's final product, service or result is successfully transitioned to its intended user or operation. Okay, so whatever it is the final product, be it a machine, be it a service rendered, be it a process change in an organization, whatever it is, you have to successfully deliver it to the intended users. All right, so that's what this particular output is all about. Next is organizational process asset updates. So updates to organizational process assets, including the project closure procedures, checklists and templates, are made based on lessons learned. So all the documents that you have in the company archives has to be updated. All right, you have to update all of them and you get them up to speed based on the findings and the lessons learned from the project that have just been concluded for future references. Okay, also you have the project document updates. Now, any necessary updates to project documents are carried out to reflect the closure of the project or phase. Okay, now you may be wondering, what's the difference between organizational process assets update and project document updates? So the project document updates are particularly related to this current project. Okay, the current project that you just concluded. But when we talk about organizational process asset, these ones are different documents regarding the whole organization, all right, and particularly related to this particular project and how it fits in with the entire organization, all right, in terms of the organizational culture, organizational procedures, and everything that are related to the running of the entire organization as far as project management is concerned. Okay, so those ones have to do with organizational process assets. Okay, that's why it's called organizational process assets. So it has to do with the whole organization, not just the particular project at hand, but the project document has to do with the particular project at hand. So you have to update those documents related to the project itself. Okay, so when you're closing, these documents related to the project itself has to be updated. All right, well, let's move on. Now, what are the key takeaways from this section? Firstly, project closure involves completing all outstanding activities, obtaining formal acceptance, and transitioning the project's final product or result. Okay, so before you close as a project manager, you have to ensure that all outstanding activities regarding the life cycle of this project have been completed. Okay, and then you're going to obtain formal acceptance in terms of your written documents, okay, from the customers or the stakeholders, after which you now transition the final outcome or the final deliverable or the product or result to the client or stakeholder in question. Now, lessons learned during the closure contribute to improving future project closure procedures. Okay, so of course these ones will now be added to the organizational process assets. That's what I was trying to explain initially. All right, so you now update those documents, both the project documents as well as the organizational process assets. So this information from this project will now serve as reference points for future projects. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this particular section, and particularly the end of this module 4. All right, hope you've learned a lot. So the next thing we're going to be going into is the quiz. All right, so ensure you take your quiz before moving on. So see you in the next module. Bye for now.